I'm Deontay Jenkins, and here's what's on my mind. Whatever happened to comedy movies? No, really, what happened to them? I remember when I was growing up, it seemed like every other week a great comedy was coming out. And now, I can't name any in the last 5 years. I really can't think of any great comedy movie in the last 5 years that has the staying power of films like Superbad or The Hangover or anything Will Ferrell was doing from 2000 to 2010. And honestly, I think the reasoning behind it is a bigger problem in Hollywood. We need comedy movies. Since the beginning of cinema, comedy movies have gone right along the dramas, the action films, the big spectacles, and always has done well in the box office. Now, I'm not here today to talk about the difference between box office numbers and streaming numbers. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where are the comedies that have staying power? Truth be told, there aren't any. And here's the reason. Studios are not willing to invest in low to mid-budget films. I'm not talking about the independent films. You have an entire market of independent films and independent filmmakers that are finding a way to finance their movies. A lot of them through big streaming services. But that $5 million to $40 million range, which comedies usually fit in, are not happening anymore. There's an argument that there aren't any comedic superstars anymore. And that argument is dumb. A lot of people will tell you that there aren't any stars anymore. The star era is over in Hollywood. And I say that is bullshit. Complete bullshit. They're still stars, they're all just starring in Marvel movies, or comic book movies as a whole. Tom Holland came up in the last 5 years, and now he can sell a movie on his name alone. Where did he break through? As Spider-Man. And you know why he broke through? Because Disney and Marvel invested their time and money in him. Of course he's working on films that are $100 million, $200 million. That's not the point. They still made him feel like a star, made him feel like an attraction. And studios aren't doing that with comedians anymore. Think about it. Who is a comedy name that can get you to go out and watch comedy movies today? The last two comedic superstars that I can really think of that studios just got behind were maybe Kevin Hart and Melissa McCarthy. I'll throw Tiffany Haddish in there too. But other than that, there aren't really any comedic superstars. There aren't any Will Ferrells. Will Ferrell could sell a movie just because he was Will Ferrell. There aren't any Jim Carreys who could sell a movie just because he's Jim Carrey. There aren't any Mike Myers. There aren't any Jack Blacks. There aren't any of these people who could get you to come out to a movie just to see them. It's not because people aren't funny anymore. If the internet has taught me anything, there are a million funny comedians making videos on there. But that's the thing, they're sticking to these social media platforms because studios and streaming services aren't investing in comedy movies. There are so many comedians on the internet, on TV, all over the place that could make amazing comedic movies that could get audiences out to see them, or at least to turn on the TV and turn on a streaming service to watch them. But everybody's worried about the big blockbuster that takes home a whole bunch of money. That's not sustainable. One, you can only do so many of those films a year. What about the other movies? What about the people that don't like comic book movies? They need something too. What about somebody that wants to be entertained with lightheartedness but doesn't want to see a comic book movie and doesn't want a heavy drama or a heady sci-fi film? I think Hollywood is missing out on a big audience that needs to be fed. I personally grew up on studio comedies and I love them. Everybody loves comedies. It's not like people aren't laughing at movies anymore. Look again at the Marvel movies. Every single one of them has an element of comedy, and that's what brings people to those films along with the action. Comedy films can sell, you just have to invest in the stars. Make them feel like superstars. Then no matter what the film is, good or bad, people will watch it. Kevin Hart has put out plenty of bad movies. Will Ferrell's put out plenty of bad movies. But you know what? We want to watch them. You know why? Because we love them as comedic actors. I think the streaming service that's going to win the streaming wars and the studio that's going to return people to the box office is not the one that's investing in the big movies. Everybody's investing in the big movies. You're going to continue to do that. But the companies that are really going to stand out and really set themselves apart and make even more money are the ones that figure out how to get asses in seats to watch comedy movies. Not just comedy movies, but that medium budget film. And if you can make superstars out of those films, then you have a winning recipe. Mark my words, it'll happen as soon as they figure it out. But then again, what do I know? Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You can check out some of my latest short films here. Make sure you follow me on social media. And let me know in the comments what some of your favorite comedy films are. Once again, I am Deontay Jenkins. And make sure you come back next time, because I think you're pretty cool. Peace. If you're interested in more content like this, support me on Patreon and make sure that I can get even more of these done every week. Hit the link in the description for more.